Hey, welcome to Parents Under Construction podcast. We're so glad you could join us. I'm Michael Jarquin, and my friend and mentor, Dr. Ed West, are recording our conversations for the purpose of supporting Christian parents with biblical solutions to child rearing. Our goal is to provoke parents to change ahead of their children. It is what is necessary for this thing called parenting that God has mandated. Again, welcome, and we hope you get something out of these discussions. Well, good morning. We're here again. Have a conversation this morning. You wanted to talk about the word teaching as it relates to parenting and the Bible.
When's the last time you remember teaching your kid in the last week?
Probably yesterday.
Do you remember what it was about?
It was about trusting God.
You remember the lesson?
Well, I remember the conversation. See if I can draw it out. So I think my son and I were talking about all the different things that are going on in the world right now. Politics. He's become aware that inflation's become a thing, so things are costing more. We're getting less for our money. And I had the opportunity to talk to him about how I'm addressing it, how I'm looking at it from a follower of Christ's perspective, a follower of child of God, right? Meaning I'm trusting my Father and not necessarily getting distracted by what's going on in the world and becoming worried.
It's not the same thing as not paying attention. You're saying now about how you are coping with what you're looking at.
Yeah, correct. That, and this is what I told him. If the Bible is true, and I believe it to be true, that it's God's words to us, then my actions should show that, right?
When was this conversation?
Oh, we were just driving down the road.
I know, but when? Yesterday?
Yesterday, I think.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
When's the last time you talked to your child?
Yesterday.
Was that it? Or was there another time you talked to your child last time?
No, he got his license yesterday, and he was excited to go and do this senior thing because he's a senior now. So he went out on his own, and we had a talk before he left.
What did you say then?
He's very excited to be driving, and we've only got two vehicles, and Mom works out of the house and I work at home, but I still need the vehicle to get around and do things for the home and for them. And he really wants to drive to school. That's a big deal to him. Even this summer, he says, Dad, I got to get my license and drive to school. I said, I don't want to go to school. Well, you have to go to school, son. We'll do our best to make this happen. The timing of everything.
Did you say that to him?
Yes.
That you have to go to school?
Oh, yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Was that a teaching?
I think so.
I think it was too.
Yeah.
Which you said the last time you taught him was about the news.
Well, I think that was a profound situation where he had asked some questions, and then it gave me... I guess I didn't think in terms of this little thing that was happening in our home as teaching.
And what do you think about
I think I was thinking more profound teaching.
And what do you think about what I just said?
I think that we're always teaching our kids. We're teaching them something.
I think that too.
We might be teaching them the right thing or the wrong thing.
I think that we don't even know we're doing it, and we're doing it all the time.
Yeah.
We don't even know we're doing it.
We might be teaching about who we are.
Yeah.
And that may be a false image of who we are. It's not really who we are because we're acting badly.
It occurs to me that parents wake up in the morning and the first thought they have is, I wish I didn't have to get out of bed.
That was me this morning. Somebody left my son came home late from the senior thing and decided he was going to do laundry, and the washer was going at 3 a.m. This was a late night senior thing, so we allowed him to go. And 3 a.m. I could hear the washer. You know how when it gets off balance, and that can ruin a washer. Not to mention, I was woken from my sleep, like, what's going on? So I had to find out who was doing laundry.
Yeah.
And why were you doing it so late? Because we should do that. Anyway, I woke up this morning thinking, I don't really want to get out of bed.
Last night when you did that, what did you say to him?
I said, please don't do laundry in the middle of the night.
Did you tell him why?
Yes. I said, first of all, nobody's there to hear the machine off balance and it'll ruin the machine. Second of all, sometimes dryers catch houses on fire and I don't want to be asleep while there's a fire in the house.
Can I ask you, was that a teaching?
Yes.
So the last time you taught then was last night at 3 o'clock?
Actually, yes. You're just drawing it out of me, aren't you?
Were you in the mood to teach?
Oh, no. I was
No,
upset.
you were-
I was very upset. I had to control myself.
And at 3 o'clock in the morning, was he in the mood to learn?
I assume he had...
Or did you not pay attention?
No, he was up, I'm sure, because he was doing laundry. And he'll probably be sleeping until 12 o'clock today. He's sleeping right now.
Do you see the point I'm making?
Yeah, that we're always teaching. Well, that was one of the reasons when I woke up with my heart just pounding. That actually drew on anger.
I don't,
Who is doing this and why?
is that a good time to teach?
No, I had to catch myself in the moment and say, okay, don't use the anger. But I could not help but feel what I was feeling.
Of course you can.
So I'm saying to myself, okay, don't, go banging on his door and causing a ruckus and these things. So I just sent him a text message. Are you doing laundry? Please don't do laundry in the middle of the night. And here's why. Okay, Dad, I'm sorry. I'll go turn it off.
Was there a time in your life when you probably wouldn't have taken the moment to get your emotional act together?
Yes.
There was.
Well, I would say that's a struggle that I'm not always self-controlled.
I'm talking about even considered it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That would have been a total disrespect to me at one point in my life.
And so you've changed on that.
Stupid kids. What are you doing?
All right. But you've changed on that then.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, that's interesting. The Bible talks about parents or teachers pretty seriously. And we do it without being conscious that we're doing it. Almost every time we open our mouths around our children, there's some kind of teaching probably that's going to be involved in what comes next. It's just it's the way we talk to each other. Commonly, for instance, you and I are just adult friends, and we commonly could have conversations about all kinds of things that didn't involve teaching. It involved events, it involved thoughts, it involves descriptions and things like that, but not necessarily teaching a lesson. But with children, it's really, really likely that the next thing you say to a child will be in some form will be a teaching.
Yeah.
And we don't even realize we're doing it. Meanwhile, it's not intentional that we do it. And so we become ineffective in what we're trying to do with teaching. The word teach in the dictionary doesn't mean instruct, as you would think what instruct means. If I said I instructed today, what do you think I did?
Gave you instructions, or you gave someone instructions. You gave them commands. Do this, do this, do this.
But what did I literally do with my body when I instructed? Open my mouth?
Yes.
Vocalize something?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Would you say if my intention was to instruct, be home by 8 o'clock, that was my intention, and I said to my child, be home by 8 o'clock, do you think I instructed?
Yes.
You do.
I instructed you to be home by 8 o'clock.
Now let me use a different word, teach. Let's say I taught my child to be home at 8 o'clock. Do you think I did the same thing as when I instructed my child?
No.
No. What was the difference?
Instructed was I gave you a command. I gave you a 1, 2, 3 or...
Instruction's about me and what I did. Teaching's about you and what happened to you. The word teach in the dictionary means to impart a lesson.
Okay. Well, there's got to be a...
The other guy's got to receive it if it was teaching. It's not what I did, it's what happened to you. Do you see that?
You impart something, they receive something.
I have something over here, and I get it over there, and you got it now, and that's called teaching.
And teaching means there's a change happening, right?
Oh, it should be, yeah.
In the student.
In the student, and the other person, yes.
Right.
Yeah, teaching is not what I'm doing over here, it's what's happening to you over there.
Instructing wouldn't mean that there's any kind of
Instructing has
change.
more to do with what I'm doing. You see that? And teaching has to do with what's happening to you. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a concept about teaching that is pretty meaningful if you get into the reason children don't listen to you, because you're not paying attention to that point. Is what I'm saying getting into you or not?
Yeah.
As opposed to I'm saying it, here it comes again, here it comes again, here it comes again. I did my job. I'm throwing it over there.
So I think the issue that some parents may have that I have is there might be a child that they're just not receiving what is being tried to be taught. Or
the younger the child, the more likely that's going to be true, because the discipline of receiving instruction, receiving it now, not giving it, but receiving it, has components to it that children have to learn before they can receive teaching.
yeah, but let's say you've not followed any of these principles or things that we talk about, and you end up with a teenager that has, well, you've decided you want to make a change and you know that you need to make a change, but you have a teenager that's just not well receiving anything.
Well, let's start between you and me. Let's say that you're a teenager and I'm a parent.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and you don't know anything about what I'm up to over here. Yeah, that's who you're just described. You don't even know what I'm up to over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just very self-absorbed.
And so I would say to you, do you understand that I'm your teacher?
No.
Do you know what I have to teach you?
No.
That I am your teacher. That's what I need to teach you, that I am your teacher.
Ah.
I have lots of lessons for you.
Okay, so there's a lesson and not an instruction. If you're enjoying the conversation, I think you'll get a lot out of Doc's book titled How You Feed a Cat. That is, How You Feed a Cat, because I told you to feed the cat and you listened to me. This book is full of Doc's experiences as a pediatrician, father, and husband. It sheds light on the role of a parent in the child's life and how we as parents need to change ahead of our children. You can find the book on Barnes & Noble's website or in the app, and the link is in the description below. Right, I'm not going to say to you, I'm your teacher, so therefore you need to listen to me.
No.
I have to find a way to impart a lesson.
To get you to understand about me as your teacher. I'm the person who imparts lessons to you.
Ah.
And if you don't understand that, that's where my teaching begins.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Teach me.
Okay.
Ready.
If I will teach you that I am your teacher, the kind of teaching I'm going to do with you is called, in the Hebrew language in the Bible, is the word lamad, L-A-M-A-D.
Okay, lamad.
And lamad is a specific form of teaching for children in the Bible, and it means to teach by doing or by endeavor. Not my endeavor, by the way, by the student's endeavor. I teach by endeavor, your endeavor. I teach by your endeavor.
Okay, what's an endeavor?
Fishing.
Yeah.
You like to fish, I know that.
Okay.
You're a kid, and I want to teach you to fish. Fishing is boring. The younger the kid, the more likely it is to be boring. Except for what?
Except actually catching.
What you catch?
They call it fishing for a reason. That's what we always say.
They don't call it standing around with a pole.
Yeah, they call it fishing for a reason because it's not catching all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as a teacher, you want your student to catch.
Yeah. With children, we always have to take into account that they're not necessarily taught to listen to us. And we have to take the time to teach them to listen to us. Now, let's say the word listen, as a parent would use, it means he did what I told him to do. That's what listening usually means when a parent uses the word. Let's say that you're a person who doesn't recognize me as your teacher. Is there a way I could prove that you're not listening to me?
Allowing failure?
I just put a pen on the table. I want to give you something to listen to. Give me the pen.
Okay.
That's simple. You know what the words mean.
Right.
How would I know that you listened to me?
I actually gave it to you.
You gave me the pen.
Right.
How would I prove that you didn't listen to me?
You didn't give it to me.
It's as simple as that. If you don't give me the pen, it's really unlikely you're going to do anything else I tell you to do.
Okay, but now are we in the phase of discussing that?
Could be. We're in the phase actually of the beginning of what listening is about. Listening is about understanding and obeying. Because if you don't speak my language, and I said, give me the pen, you would have no idea what I'm even talking about. Do children have language when they're 3 months old, 6 months old, 9 months old, a year old, 18 months old? Somewhere in there, they start picking up some sense of language.
Right.
But we're already telling them what to do. And they don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the words. Meanwhile, what do they know about my intention when I give a command? Have they ever run into a command before?
A child, little one.
No, they don't.
They don't know what it is.
Okay. What about a teenager who has learned to ignore commands? Is there such a thing as that?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What does that person need to learn?
To obey commands.
To obey commands. That's the lesson. That's the lesson. It's not all this other stuff. It's the lesson. I say it, you do it. It's that simple. If I say it and you don't do it, I don't have anywhere else to go with this until I say it and you do it. And I need to stay on something that gets obedience from you. And then I need to, as the Hebrew word lamad says, I need to practice with you until you do it. Whenever you hear it, you do it. And that now we're learning what I'm saying to you about teaching. I'm training you. That's what the word train means, is to learn by doing. And you've been trained to do all kinds of things in your life. You're trained to drive a car. You've been trained to work a computer. You've been trained in all many things. And so this is another point of training, is there's a command and you do it. If there's a command and you don't do it, we get all upset about it. We yell and scream, we knock them around and do all kinds of things to them. But we don't take the time to say, that means that you don't see this yet, and I need to work with you on it. I say it, you do it. That's how simple it is.
Sounds like a fundamental thing.
It sounds like it is.
Well, what I mean by that is, if you're stuck in this issue, as I am with a teenager in my house that doesn't obey, you become frustrated with that lack of obedience, because you know that's what you really want, what's what you need. I think that as a parent, you just know that if you're ever going to do anything with this child, it has to be obedient to what you say, he or she. So fundamentally, it means we have to go back to that first, right?
The very simple thing. Let's take, for instance, a washing machine at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Is that likely to happen again?
Not by that child, no.
Not by that child. Because the child's not in your house anymore.
No. This child usually responds well to instruction or teaching.
So the lesson got through, you think? Well, okay, and that's good. Of course, that's wonderful. The lesson got through. And if you don't need to do it anymore, you don't need to do it anymore. There are many children that you simply give them an instruction. This is how you do that, not that way, this way. And the kid says, "Oh, I'm glad you showed me." And he's on with his life.
Yeah, and some kids just forget, I suppose.
And then some kids deliberately do it the wrong way.
or yeah, that's a rebellion, right?
Yeah,
that's a different thing, right?
And then some kids don't remember the lesson and forget it tomorrow night. Right?
Right.
Okay, you know your kid.
Yep.
If you got a kid that just simply needs an instruction, that's all you do. That's the way the Lord works with us. He says, that's not the way to do it. Do it this way. And you say, "Oh, I'm glad you showed me."
Yeah.
And you get on with your life.
Right.
That's the way it's supposed to work. That's the way it's supposed to work.
But sometimes we want to keep whatever it is that, well, for some reason we don't learn the lesson. And then other ways it's as if we need to be taught the lesson over and over again, because
often that's because we learned a bad habit and we have to get past the habit.
There's something that we want badly, but it's something that we shouldn't have.
That's right. Or it sometimes has to do with selfish desires. It has to do with motivation.
Because a lot of times that's where you'll find a kid that they really want this thing so badly, like going on their device to look at YouTube and they know they're not supposed to.
Okay,
they really want to watch YouTube.
Okay, now let's take that, what you just said.
Yeah.
I have a kid who's going on YouTube, and I don't want him to go on those places where he's going on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
As you just described it, he's being driven by an impulse within himself of a desire that he gets a jolt out of. That's chemical stuff usually. I mean, they learn that. The dopamine makes them want to do it because they anticipate some kind of payoff from it.
Yeah.
And so and they get a little high from it. This is all normal, by the way. It's all normal chemicals. But anyway, it feels good.
I think I did that with fishing at one time, even in my marriage. I wanted fishing so bad that even if my wife didn't want me to go, I would go, to the point where there would be a rift between us. But later on, I learned that...
Wait a minute. How did you learn it?
I guess I learned it through understanding the pain that came afterwards.
To who?
Well, to me and to her. The relationship had a rift.
What was the pain to you?
Pain to me was that the relationship wasn't what it was before.
It was the relationship.
Yes.
The breach in the relationship, because you would not recognize her need in this, became more important to you than the fishing.
Yep.
That's the way it works with the YouTube. It works the same way. That there's something about the way the relationship works in training that bonds the teacher to the student.
Okay, so I have a unique situation because this teenager in my house is not from my house, has, I would say, abandonment issues, feelings. So I think what you're talking about is isolation, and isolation to this kid brings up bad feelings.
Of course it does.
Really bad feelings.
Of course it does.
The past.
Of course it does.
I think I'm just getting that.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying to myself, okay, how do I do this in such a way that I don't cause harm?
Okay, let's talk about bad feelings. Bad feelings are not harmful, but they can lead to harm. But bad feelings can also be motivating to try to avoid.
Okay.
And so you have a feeling of anticipation of pleasure from YouTube.
Yep.
You have a feeling of abandonment. Those are two feelings.
So when Dad...
The feeling of abandonment, by the way, would be anxiety.
Yeah.
And this is another chemical.
Yeah.
Probably cortisol.
Huh.
Okay, so you have these two, you have this possibility in a moment. Do you want to go feel this way, or do you want to go feel that way? And so I want to go feel what I get from YouTube. Okay, if you do that, you'll be feeling what you get from abandonment. And now we have this tension that brings on what's called a crisis in the person of, well, the one feeling is worth it, the other feeling is really not worth it. And the two feelings are going to be here. If I do this, would you rather find a different way to get the dopamine without the cortisol? In other words, there's not a crisis by doing it the right way. Is there a way to get into the right way in which you can still get some enjoyment and yet not risk the cortisol problem? There's no harm in the cortisol anymore than there's any harm in the dopamine. It's just normal stuff in your body. But on the other hand, it feels like there's trouble going on, and the feeling becomes almost unbearable sometimes. A child who has attachment problems and abandonment problems has enormous chemical stuff going on inside that is always there, ready to be dominant in a moment in determining what the child's up to. It's very scary to be around people like that, and you feel like you're walking on eggshells because you don't want to bring on the bad issues with the child.
Yes.
But on the other hand, the bad issues are always there, possibly. Would it not be better to work with the bad issues and try to help the child learn how to accept the chemical and the bad issue that the chemical causes, and learn how to control it, at the same time learning what the solutions are that do not bring on the consequences? As in, there is a right way to do YouTube. There is the best way to do YouTube, and that's teaching, and I'll teach you those things. Meanwhile, I'm not going to back down when you're wrong and the bad feelings occur to you, because the bad feelings are the price you pay for it.
Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. We hope that you've gotten something out of our discussion. If you've enjoyed listening, please support us by subscribing to our show and rating us. Bye for now.